So I just watched Deep Metal, and if any episode of Transformers could have used a Linkin Park soundtrack, this is gonna be the one. Also known as the one where Inferno gets flattened like Wile E. Coyote, this is the debut of Depth Charge on the trail of Protoform X, ending up through a transwarp portal into the past, into the Beast Wars, and fresh coat of paint while we're at it. This is our first introduction of a new character in Season 3, and there's going to be a few of them, technically. This is the first completely new character, let's put it that way. And I think, if I remember right, the last one of the entire series. But yeah, this is pretty much an establishment episode for Depth Charge as a character, but there's other stuff going on, so we should probably go over this in general. And we'll start from the beginning. The first thing we see is a conversation between Primal and Rynox, and it kind of demonstrates what Rynox is going to be doing for the rest of the series, which is staying in the base and handling the tech stuff and having conversations with people. That's pretty much it. Thinking back to it, now we've acknowledged that my memory of small details in this series are kind of hit and miss. There's, like the last episode, I said there's one instance of Primal using the ape form again. There's two. And he barely spent, both of them, he barely spends any time in that mode. I can't remember, though, if there's any point where Rynox isn't in either the Maximal base or the Ark for the rest of the series. I think he just stays in the volcano the entire series from here on out. I'm not even sure there's a scene where he raises his guns. I mean, I feel like he's like a non-factor in this season until we get to the very end of it. But that's a thing. He's gonna have little moments, but he's not like prominent. There's no episodes focused on him anymore. Probably because his toy is 2 years out of print at this point. But like I said, this is about Depth Charge, and when we get to see him for the first time, they waste no time demonstrating how anti-authority and how brooding he is. And it's a running theme in the episode. Yeah. So, I'm going to get it out of the way now. I feel like they tried way too hard to make Depth Charge really edgelord in this one. They do enough to establish that he doesn't like taking orders, he doesn't like listening to authority, his mission to destroy Protoform X is everything he is about. But they take it so far. And they go over it so far, so many times in this one episode. By the time we get to the end, I'm like, I get it. He doesn't like anyone else. I get it. It's I don't know. It's a frustrating debut because he's doing cool things because, of course, it's a new $20 toy that they have to sell. So he's doing all the cool stuff, but it's just, personality-wise, he's going to be a cool character. He is going to be that, anti-hero loner. But right now, I feel like they pushed it so hard in this episode that he just comes off unlikable. Now, maybe that's just me, but I just feel like it was just a little too much. We find out, so little things we find out. Apparently, the transwarp conduit that the Predacon ship made is still there, and that is what Depth Charge went through. It apparently absorbed some of that quantum surge because it turned him transmetal as soon as he went through. This is never really explained. We're just guessing. Let's see. And because it is Depth Charge, we finally get to see Rampage stepping back into the spotlight in this episode, and I'm very happy with what Rampage was up to here. Ever since Bad Spark, his character has been much more mellowed out and, trying to get away from Megatron at times, but still ultimately subservient. We don't really get to see much of his dark nature anymore. We got a little bit of we got to see it in Transmutate, and that's it. But even then, the thing I've been missing is that unstoppable monster Rampage that we saw in Bad Spark, because ever since then he just seems very easy to beat, which is kind of frustrating because you build up this giant monster, that takes, it takes 3 Maximals and Black Arachnia together to actually beat it, and it just goes nowhere after that. He just kind of becomes another one in the fold. So it was really cool to see him back to form here and being like genuinely terrifying again. That's really cool. Let's see. I'm trying to get to the big things first, and we'll go to little bits that I noticed here and there. This is the first time we got to see something underwater in the series, which was really cool. It's a very different setting. It allowed for a few different options in the fight with Rampage and Depth Charge. We're going to go underwater a few more times this season. We have to. We've got a Maximal and a Predacon who are aquatic now, so we are required to go underwater. It does make for a different twist. After 2 seasons of battling in basically rocky canyons and cliff sides, it's kind of cool to actually go under the sea. Let's see. Let's see what other things. Actually, it's a lot of little things because we focus so much on Depth Charge in this episode. So let's a few little points that I noticed. Inferno has gone from being the intimidating psychopath to the new Waspinator. Like I said, he got flattened by a boulder, which is probably very cathartic for Black Arachnia, who pulled the trigger on that one. We see Depth Charge's ship, a Skyhopper, which conveniently looks like his flight mode. He got real lucky there. We also have a gaffe in the writing because Depth Charge transforms into beast mode by maximizing. I don't even think it's the first time he does it. I think I remember another time where he got his transformation calls backwards. Now, to be fair, at this point, they pretty much abandoned transformation commands. So the writers at this point might have just been out of practice in using them and forgot which one goes where, or if maximize is for any transformation or just a robot. I don't know, but it is weird. It is weird. Let's see other little elements. Okay, so the one saving grace to Depth Charge's character in this one is he does actually take the time to save Cheetor when he's in the water. So there's a little bit of a proper Maximal in there. He actually did show some concern for a fellow Maximal. I mean, at the end of the episode, he just kind of backhands Cheetor, so that didn't last very long. Again, I this is one of those things where I feel like he's just trying way too hard to be antisocial, because he's fine with Cheetor when they first meet, and then when they meet again, no, get out of my way, kid. There's one last thing I want to save at the end. Let's see if I've got everything accounted for until then. Rampage needs to stop turning into tank mode. He loses every time he does that. We see Quick Strike take out somebody for the first time because he got the last shot in on Depth Charge. So good job, Quick Strike. Took you a season, but you pulled one off. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's it for the little bits. Yeah, I think that's it for the little bits. The last big thing I need to talk about is just that end sequence. There's a lot to go through. Depth Charge has to be explained that the Predacons are out there. Has to be explained that he's in the past and that they're defending the Ark. Has to explain just basically a lot. Basically, we get kind of like a recap of the situation we are in through trying to explain it to Depth Charge. But it drags. It really drags. The last 3.5, 4 minutes of this episode is basically just Depth Charge trying to leave while Primal tries to talk sense into him. Depth Charge broods, Primal speeches. Depth Charge broods, Primal speeches. And they just keep... And every time they do this, they just walk a little bit farther out of the base. Just a little bit farther out of the cave. Until he finally makes it all the way out and he just flies off. And it's just that felt like it took way longer than necessary. I feel like I feel like some of these conversations got way quicker in previous episodes. Now, again, there's a lot going on here. Even on Depth Charge's side, you know, the explanation of, like, Colony Omicron, the explanation of, like, the Maximal Elders, and there's a lot to explain, but again, it just felt like, God, this could have been cut in half. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But that really did put like a sour note. The pace dragging at the end really kind of put a damper on the episode that I was already not feeling too much, because it's focused on a character that I genuinely don't like right off the bat. So for now, I'm giving it a passable grade. I mean, it's fine. I find problem with it, and I just think it's as an introduction for Depth Charge, I feel like it could have been handled just a little bit better. But that's just one geek's opinion. I know Depth Charge is a super popular character, so what do I know? But that is my opinion for Deep Metal, and join me. I am back to reviewing these, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of episodes with a lot of stuff to talk about, so join me. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.